Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions, following rules you never agreed to? I used to do the same, constantly worried about fitting in, pleasing others, and playing by the rules. But one day, I realized something shocking. Most of the social habits we're taught are designed to keep us stuck, not to help us thrive. If you're ready to step off the hamster wheel and start living life on your own terms, it's time to quietly eliminate these toxic social habits. This won't be comfortable, and it definitely won't be popular, but trust me, it will set you free. Social habit 1. People-pleasing. Let's talk about people-pleasing, a habit so ingrained in us that we often mistake it for kindness. But here's the truth, people-pleasing isn't kindness, it's self-sabotage disguised as politeness. I used to be the poster child for this, saying yes to every request, smiling through every inconvenience, and bending over backward to keep others happy. I thought I was being generous, but in reality, I was putting everyone else's needs ahead of my own at my own expense. The turning point came when I realized that constantly catering to others was not only exhausting but also a direct path to resentment. I was bending over backward for people who didn't even appreciate it. The funny thing is, the more I tried to please everyone, the less respect I got. By always saying yes, I was telling the world that my time, energy, and even my self-worth were up for grabs. So I flipped the script. I started saying no when I needed to, without feeling the need to justify it. And guess what? The world didn't end. In fact, the people who truly cared about me respected my boundaries and admired my newfound confidence. Yes, a few people were shocked or offended, but their reactions only revealed who was really in my corner. Here's the controversial part, people-pleasing is selfish, not selfless. When you're constantly trying to keep everyone happy, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it to avoid discomfort, rejection, or confrontation. It's about protecting yourself from feeling bad, not about genuinely helping others. Once I realized this, I stopped trying to be everyone's best friend and started being my own. If you're still trapped in the cycle of people-pleasing, it's time to wake up. You're not a doormat, and your worth isn't tied to how much you give to others. Break free from this habit, and you'll find that the people who truly matter will stay, while those who don't will fade away. Life gets a whole lot lighter when you're not carrying everyone else's expectations on your back. Social habit 2. Holding grudges. Holding grudges is like clutching a burning coal, hoping the person who wronged you will feel the heat. I used to be an expert at holding grudges, clinging to every hurtful word and betrayal, convinced that my resentment was a form of justice. I thought that by holding onto my anger, I was keeping my guard up, protecting myself from future pain. But the truth is, holding a grudge does more harm to you than to anyone else. It's like poisoning your own heart and expecting the other person to suffer. I once held a grudge against someone who deeply betrayed me. I replayed the scenario in my head for years, imagining different outcomes where I got the last word. I thought that by nurturing that grudge, I was maintaining control. But instead of feeling powerful, I felt burdened by the weight of my own resentment. The grudge didn't keep me safe, it kept me stuck. Here's the deeper truth, holding onto a grudge is like anchoring yourself in a stormy sea. You think it's keeping you steady, but in reality, it's pulling you under, drowning you in bitterness and pain. The only way to save yourself is to let go. Letting go isn't about forgetting or condoning what happened, it's about choosing your peace over your pain. When I finally let go of that grudge, I felt an incredible sense of relief, as if a weight had been lifted. I realized that holding a grudge doesn't protect you from future harm, it just keeps you chained to the past. Life is too short to be lived in chains, especially ones we forge ourselves. Grudges are chains that bind us to our wounds, preventing us from healing and growing. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks those chains. It's not about making the wrongs right, it's about making yourself whole again. Social habit 3. Ignoring red flags in relationships. We've all been there, stuck in a relationship where things just don't feel right, but we convince ourselves to keep going. Maybe it's because we're afraid of being alone, or we believe that things will magically improve over time. I've been guilty of this, too, ignoring glaring red flags because I didn't want to face the truth. But here's the hard reality: ignoring red flags in a relationship is like driving with your eyes closed. You're bound to crash, and the longer you ignore them, the worse the wreck will be. I once stayed in a toxic relationship filled with constant arguments, disrespect, and a lack of trust. Instead of confronting the issues or walking away, I kept making excuses. It's just a rough patch, or everyone has flaws. The truth is, red flags are there for a reason. They're warning signals that something is fundamentally wrong. Whether it's a lack of respect, dishonesty, or behaviors that make you feel uneasy, these signs shouldn't be dismissed. Ignoring red flags isn't about being too forgiving or too optimistic, it's about self-betrayal. When you choose to overlook those warning signs, you're telling yourself that your needs, feelings, and intuition don't matter. In my case, the relationship eventually imploded, and I was left wondering why I didn't walk away sooner. The signs were there all along, but I chose to ignore them. Ignoring red flags doesn't protect you, it's a denial of the respect and love you deserve. You deserve a relationship where you feel safe, valued, and heard, not one where you're constantly on edge, hoping things will change. Social habit 4, staying silent on important issues. Staying silent on important issues is often seen as the path of least resistance. But here's the harsh truth: silence in the face of injustice, wrongdoing, or moral dilemmas is not neutrality, it's complicity. I used to believe that keeping quiet was the right thing to do, especially when the stakes were high. But over time, I realized that staying silent was more than just a personal failing, it was a betrayal of my values. There was a time when I witnessed something profoundly wrong at work, a colleague being mistreated. I saw it happening but kept my head down, thinking it wasn't my fight. My silence weighed on me, a constant reminder that I had chosen comfort over courage. Staying silent on important issues is not just passive, it's an active choice to let wrongs go unchallenged. Silence allows injustice to persist. Over time, I learned that silence is not a shield, it's a prison. It locks you into a space where you're compromising your values, swallowing your voice, and watching as things you care about fall apart. Speaking up, even when uncomfortable, is a moral obligation. Silence might protect you from conflict, but it robs you of the chance to make a difference and to live in alignment with your values. Silence isn't golden when it comes to important issues. Your voice is a tool for good that can challenge injustice and inspire change. Social habit 5, seeking constant entertainment. In today's world, where endless streams of content are just a click away, seeking constant entertainment has become second nature. We're bombarded with distractions, social media, TV shows, video games, and more, all designed to keep us hooked. I used to be caught up in this cycle, filling every spare moment with something to entertain myself. But here's the uncomfortable truth: seeking constant entertainment is a subtle form of escapism. It's slowly eroding our ability to face reality, think deeply, and live meaningful lives. I realized that the constant need for entertainment wasn't just filling my time, it was filling a void I wasn't willing to confront. The constant distractions were keeping me from facing my own thoughts, emotions, and responsibilities. When I took a break from all the noise and went on a digital detox, I started reconnecting with myself. I found time to think about my goals, relationships, and purpose. It was liberating. I wasn't running away from life anymore, I was fully present in it. Constant entertainment isn't just a harmless habit, it's a barrier to personal growth and meaningful living. It's time to take a step back, embrace silence, and reconnect with yourself. Life is much richer when you're not constantly running from it. Social habit 6, oversharing personal details. In an age where social media invites us to share every aspect of our lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of oversharing personal details. I used to believe that sharing my struggles and intimate moments with others, whether online or in person, was a way to connect. But here's the uncomfortable reality: oversharing personal details doesn't bring us closer to others, it often pushes them away. Oversharing is not about being authentic, it's about seeking validation and attention at the expense of your own privacy. When we overshare, we're often looking for sympathy or reassurance from others rather than dealing with our emotions privately. It can leave us feeling exposed and judged, and it often attracts the wrong kind of attention. Privacy is a form of power, and oversharing is a way of giving that power away. When we habitually share our personal details with others, especially in public forums, we're outsourcing our emotional processing. Instead of taking the time to reflect on our experiences and understand our feelings, we rush to put everything out there, hoping for instant feedback or validation. This diminishes the value of our experiences and prevents us from developing the inner strength that comes from handling our emotions privately. The deeper message here is that not everything needs to be shared with the world. Some experiences are best kept to ourselves or shared only with those who have earned our trust. By holding back and being more selective about what we share and with whom, we're not being secretive or dishonest, we're being wise. We're protecting our vulnerabilities and maintaining control over our own narrative. This doesn't mean you should never open up. Sharing is essential for building meaningful relationships. But it's about finding a balance, knowing when and where to share, and recognizing that not every aspect of your life needs to be on display. The people who truly care about you will appreciate what you choose to share without needing to know every detail. The people who don't have your best interests at heart don't deserve access to your most intimate thoughts and experiences anyway. If you find yourself in the habit of oversharing, take a step back and ask yourself why. Are you seeking validation? Are you trying to fill an emotional void? Are you hoping that by putting everything out there, you'll find the connection or support you're missing? Once you understand the underlying reasons, you can start to address them in healthier, more private ways. In the end, the key to authentic connection isn't oversharing, it's being intentional about what you share and with whom. It's about recognizing that your personal details are valuable and not everyone deserves access to them. By setting boundaries around your personal life, you're not closing yourself off from others, you're ensuring that the relationships you have are built on a foundation of mutual respect, trust, and genuine understanding. That's far more valuable than the fleeting satisfaction of oversharing. These habits, whether it's people-pleasing, holding grudges, seeking constant entertainment, or oversharing, are subtle chains that hold you back. The reason I say you should eliminate them quietly is because true growth doesn't need an audience. Real transformation happens in the silent moments, when you're not seeking validation or approval, but simply aligning with your values. When you quietly let go of what doesn't serve you, you build a stronger, more authentic life. It's not about making grand announcements, it's about living with integrity, free from the weight of others' expectations. So, eliminate these habits one by one, quietly and confidently. Watch as your life becomes simpler, more meaningful, and deeply fulfilling.